seems to be an excessive delay, Watson.
Waiting for the prince. They can't begin until he arrives. You know that.
Ah, punctuality, my dear fellow, punctuality.
The politeness of kings. Yes, 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 yes.
He seems to take a delight in keeping his subjects waiting. I suppose, since after all he's only the Prince of Wales, we should not expect the same degree of courtesy.
And since you're under the Prince of Detectives' harems, I don't think you should presume to criticize a man who one day will be the King of England.
Well done, Watson. You cut me to the quick. Only the Prince of Detectives, you say? Then pray tell me, who is the king?
Lestrade, of course.
Christopher Plummer is one of the great acting secrets. He'd been brilliant for years and years. You know, he'd got this theatrical training and he brought such kind of nobility and class and presence to roles. He always revered Olivier, and in some senses he carried on that tradition.
On Christmas Eve, wise men always follow a star. Stars light up the world and shine all the way into men's hearts.
He's been more significant historical figures than almost anyone. He's brought a greater depth and richness to all of those people. He's taken such a variety of roles in such a variety of films.
Now, you witness it, and it's legal.
Well, gentlemen, it's 4 in the morning.
Don't you stand on politeness, Brother Kipling. If you want to go to bed, we won't steal anything.
Oh, well, thank you.
We'll send word when we're ready to push off. In case you want to bid us a fond goodbye.
Yes, well, try not to burn the place down.
He's one of those rare actors where, as he gets older, he actually begins to show us even more of his gifts. He becomes even more open. He shows us all of his wares. It's a wonderful journey.
Do me a favor, will you spare me? For God's sake, get in the real world. What do you think? I'm going to resign in protest to force it on the air? The answer is no. I don't plan to spend the end of my days wandering in the wilderness of national public radio. That decision I've already made.
He's a class act, there's no question about that. He brings a certain theatricality to many of his roles, but he does it in a subtle way. They don't look like a theatre actor playing in a film. They are big roles and they require big performances, which they get from him.
I doubt if even Bonaparte could draw men to him by duty.
Oh, Boney's not a gentleman.
Arthur, what an Englishman you are.
On a field of battle, his hat is worth 50,000 men. But he's not a gentleman. Your Grace?
His legacy is that he was one of the finest actors Canada ever produced. I do think he has certain parallels with Laurence Olivier. There's no part he couldn't do.
Edelweiss, Edelweiss, every morning you greet me, small and white, clean and bright, you look happy to meet me. Blossom of snow, may you bloom and grow forever. Edelweiss, Edelweiss, bless my homeland forever.
Christopher Plummer was born in Toronto, Canada in 1929.
One of Canada's most famous sons. His father was John Orme Plummer. He was a trader in stocks and shares. His mother was Isabella, She came from the Abbott family, and the Abbott family very well known in Canada because her grandfather was the 3rd Prime Minister of Canada. So this is upmarket, shall we say.
His parents divorced when he was a baby, and his mother brought him up in their ancestral home in Quebec, which meant that he actually grew up bilingual. He spoke English and French. He also had great gifts, or certainly aspirations towards art. He liked music, he liked reading, he liked literature, and he liked theatre.
I think his family were leaning towards him becoming a concert pianist. He certainly worked very hard at the piano, and that seemed to be the route he was taking through life. At school, he started acting, and it was while he was there that he saw Henry V with Laurence Olivier. And he thought, no, acting is what I love.
The story of Christopher Plummer becoming an actor begins really with still working at school. In 1946, he was in a school production of Pride and Prejudice, playing Darcy. And a local critic had come to review the show. And this critic also happened to be a sort of small-time theatrical producer in the area, in Centerville. And he reviewed this show and was greatly impressed with Christopher Plummer, such that he cast him in an amateur dramatic local repertory company, in fact. And they were putting on a Jean Cocteau play. And that got him his first break in, well, at least semi-professional acting. And this would eventually take him in 1953 to New York, and what would begin an extraordinary theatrical career.
By 1958, Plummer was working with director Elia Kazan in the Pulitzer Prize-winning play J.B. That same year, Plummer also made his big screen debut opposite Henry Fonda and Susan Strasberg in Sidney Lumet's Stage Struck.
Why, hello!
Hello, Miss Sharon. I know it's your opening night. I wanted to send Mr. Hedges a telegram, but I thought it would be nicer to come by and drop him a note personally instead. Where's the stage door?
Right there. What have you been doing with yourself? Getting married or engaged or any of those sensible things?
No, just following my star.
Oh, you still have that in sight, have you? Where are you living?
Over there, a few blocks west. I like to be able to walk to the theater if we have late rehearsals.
What rehearsals?
It promises to be a very lively season.
You mean next season?
Yes.
His first role is in a Sidney Lumet film called Stage Struck, shot entirely in New York, as it would have been for a Lumet film. It's a Henry Fonda picture. And the Stage Struck person that refers to the actress Susan Strasberg, who plays a young girl who tries to kind of understand her way and get the parts in New York theater, and she falls in love with Henry Fonda and so forth. And Christopher Plummer has a small part in it. And of course, he would have known that milieu, that scene, like the back of his hand, because that's where he came from. And it's small, but it's very convincing, and you know he knows this whole world.
After Stage Struck, Plummer was then offered the lead role in Nicholas Ray's Wind Across the Everglades.
Here's a chart I made of the route to Chickikee Rookery. It's about 25 miles. Don't try to go any further this trip. Well, good luck.
Thank you, sir.
All I can say is, I envy you.
Wait! I brought you some coffee. Some Key West cigars and a flask of Cuban rum.
Coffee, cigars, rum. I may never come back.
When are you coming back?
Oh, sometime tomorrow. I just want to get the feel of it. Camp out one night and come back in. I won't be looking for Cottonmouth. Not yet.
He may be looking for you.
Wind Across the Everglades, Christopher Plummer's next film, is a film where you can see that it's almost the beginning of a career that he could have as a matinee idol, because this is a story of a heroic sort of eco-warrior to a degree who goes to the Florida glades to try to stop poaching and smuggling and falls foul of a local criminal gang, really, essentially. It is a heroic role, it's based on a real person, and he brings a lot of warmth and light to it. The film itself is slightly unregarded. I mean, really, it's quite ahead of its time in terms of its eco-themes, and Plummer plays often in this way in films that are ahead of their time.
Following Wind Across the Everglades, Christopher Plummer then moved to London and focused on his stage career. It would be 6 years before he returned to the big screen, playing Emperor Commodus in The Fall of the Roman Empire.
When my father, Marcus Aurelius, died, you brought me a torch and hailed me undoubted Caesar. I swore I would not forget that. So I'm paying my debt to you, Gaius Metellus Livius. I have fought many times in the arena, but they've whispered that no gladiator dare kill a Caesar, a god. Only you would dare. If you fought me now, the world would know it was to the death. Kill me, and they're yours.
His next film was a great big historical epic that they used to make in those days. And this one was called The Fall of the Roman Empire. And it was directed by Anthony Mann. It had Omar Sharif, Alec Guinness, people like that in it. So it's a wonderful cast for him to be with. He played the emperor in the film, and he got good reviews. So the film did too, but it was never a big success at the box office as they expected. It was a very expensive film to mount, but it didn't really work at the box office. But the critics liked it, and he was noted. Once again, he got a very good reputation on the stage by that time, both in London and on Broadway. So he was a name.
I will appeal to the Senate. There must be some love for the empire left among them. I loved you, Livius.
Yet now you must die. But that's the sort of joke the gods love best. You told me once you'd never heard the gods laughing. Listen. Listen carefully.
In 1965, Christopher Plummer played the patriarch of the Von Trapp family in The Sound of Music.
Now, this is your new governess, Fräulein Maria. As I sound your signals, you will step forward and give your name. You, Fräulein, will listen carefully. Learn their signals so that you can call them when you want them.
Lisa. Friedrich. Luisa. Kurt. Brigitte. Martha.
There's Gretel.
Whenever you talk about Christopher Plummer, the first film that comes to mind is The Sound of Music. Captain Von Trapp, the man whom Julie Andrews falls in love with and who resists her until the very last minute.
Robert Wise, who would make The Sound of Music, was determined Christopher Plummer was the right man for Captain Von Trapp. There'd been talk of the likes of Sean Connery and Richard Burton, neither of whom you thought would really work. But Robert Wise knew his theatre and had seen that kind of refined quality on stage with Christopher Plummer that he knew would work. Because Captain Von Trapp has to be a bit of a stiff who slowly melts into someone far more interesting. It's kind of emerging nobility is what you need.
The Sound of Music proved to be Christopher Plummer's big breakthrough role, but it wasn't necessarily at the time the role he would have chosen to be his breakthrough role. Indeed, it wasn't necessarily at the time the role he wanted to choose. He was offered it a few times and rejected it a few times, but finally took the part when he learned that he could help with his own scenes and he could bring another element to those scenes. He didn't just, he could add his own lines, he could shape the character in his own way. And the result is very, very impressive. I think that Julie Andrews and the kids dancing and singing works so much better up against his unsentimental, detached crustiness, his, pipe-blowing captain. His unsentimentality for most of the film then makes the final opening up and sentimental warmth of the film absolutely beautiful.
I know you share this love. I pray that you will never let it die.
Edelweiss, Edelweiss, every morning you greet me.
It's the kind of movie that I suppose an actor says, okay, I'll do it, and you have no idea the monster this thing becomes and how it actually sort of attaches to you in a way, because it is an iconic role, it's an iconic picture, which dogged him until they say he's reconciled himself to it, because it is a family picture, and he loves the fact that families come and they see it and they remember him and they see him, and that gives him great pleasure.
Following The Sound of Music, Plummer accepted the role of a studio mogul in Inside Daisy Clover.
Now, this Yuletide, I'm inviting you in motion picture theaters all over the world to join with me, look up with me, and celebrate Miss Daisy Clover.
Move over stars and give me some sky. I've got me some wings I'm eager to try. I may be unknown, but wait till I've flown. You're gonna hear from me.
Inside Daisy Clover is one of those kind of unusual little Hollywood satires that have perhaps fallen through the cracks a little bit. It's a story of Natalie Wood's character, Daisy Clover, who is your kind of overnight sensation. She lives this kind of rough and ready life in Los Angeles, so well below the kind of the great richness of the city. And she's discovered by Christopher Plummer's Hollywood producer, the great Raymond Swan. It's a wonderful name he's given. And it is a classic example of manipulation and control. And he's the kind of puppet master who kind of creates her career. And she's only 15 years old in this film. I mean, I think Natalie Wood was 27 when she played her. And it is the terrible rise and fall. By 17, she's washed up and forgotten. So it's a kind of Hollywood in extremis story. It's a kind of flash of the kind of conniving and wickedness that Plummer can bring to something. An example of his kind of different contours in his career. And it's a great little savage satire on the Hollywood system.
The mid-1960s saw Christopher Plummer star in a trio of World War II films: Triple Cross, The Night of the Generals, and Battle of Britain.
Never give up, do you, Charlie?
Instrument check, sir.
I hope your new CO believes you. He's going to be one of your headaches now. Oh, they know the orders. Don't tangle unnecessarily, so it's, may I do an engine check, sir, or undercut check, or radio? Any excuse to get at the Jerry's.
Well, at least it shows they're keen.
Yeah, they're a good bunch. God knows what I find in Scotland.
A lot of kids with down on their cheeks.
Yeah, training them to be fighter pilots is a damn sight more dodgy than fighting Germans.
Well, you've got to earn that new stripe somehow.
Well, at least I got 3 days in town.
Give my regards to your wife.
Thanks.
May I have a word, sir?
Good luck, sir. Thanks for the party, sir. Watch out, sir. Hey, send us back a haggis. All right.
The year after Battle of Britain, Plummer played the Duke of Wellington in the epic Napoleonic war film Waterloo.
You really are the best of my generals.
We ladies just have to follow the drum. This season, soldiers are the fashion.
Where would society be without my boys?
They're the salt of England, Arthur.
Scum. Nothing but beggars and scoundrels. All of them. Gin is the spirit of their patriotism.
Yet you expect them to die for you?
Mm-hmm.
Out of duty?
Mm-hmm.
Waterloo is a very elaborate Soviet-Italian retelling of the Battle of Waterloo. The Soviet Mosfilm provided a lot of money, but it also provided a large part of the Red Army for the battle scenes, which are spectacular. Christopher Plummer plays the Duke of Wellington, and in a way it slightly harks to his Sound of Music role at the beginning. He's discovered at a ball where they tell him that Napoleon has escaped and has put an army together and is marching across Europe, will divide Prussia and Britain. And after that it becomes a much more human role. He plays a duke who's trying to wrestle with an opponent who really he keeps thinking is going to outfox him and who takes some last desperate gambles. It's a huge arc for Plummer to play, and he plays him in a way that the Duke of Wellington is not a sympathetic character typically, but in this he really is.
He's committed Foyle's division now, sir. He intends to turn us on the right.
What the master seems to intend and what he does will be as different as White Knight to Black Bishop.
We can quickly move the 95th down, sir.
I do not intend to run around like a wet hen. There'll be plenty of time, sir.
In 1975, Christopher Plummer took on the role of Rudyard Kipling in director John Huston's The Man Who Would Be King.
I've come back. Give me a drink, Brother Kipling. Don't you know me?
No. I don't know you. Who are you? What can I do for you?
I told you. Give me a drink.
The Man Who Would Be King by John Huston is a very popular film with Michael Caine and Sean Connery. And Christopher Plummer actually really is the narrator of the film as Rudyard Kipling. He plays Kipling excellently.
It's all based on a Kipling story, and Huston gives it everything that Kipling would want for it. And the framework of this, as beautifully envisioned by Huston, is that we would get Kipling himself, and you would meet Michael Caine's character, weather-beaten and aged, with the story to tell, and he tells it to Kipling. The kind of suggestion being that Kipling, in fact, had written a real story, and this was it.
The whole point about the film was the acting in it, which was wonderful throughout. I don't think Christopher Plummer's ever given a bad performance on screen.
You're both out of your minds. To start with, the only way to get there is through Afghanistan. Kafiristan? No. 2 white men on their own would be cut to pieces before they went 5 miles into the Khyber Pass.
Just suppose we managed it. Just suppose. And suppose we got across the Afghan plains. Then what?
There's the Hindu Kush, the frozen sea of peaks and glaciers. A party of geographers, a mapping expedition tried several years ago and vanished into thin air. No white man has ever been there and come out since Alexander.
Alexander who?
Alexander the Great, king of Greece, about 300 years before Christ.
Well, if a Greek can do it, we can do it.
In the same year as The Man Who Would Be King, Plummer also starred as Archduke Franz Ferdinand in The Day That Shook the World. Then, in 1977, Plummer played the world's most famous detective, Sherlock Holmes, in the television film Silver Blaze, before returning to the role just 2 years later in Murder by Decree, where he starred opposite James Mason as Watson.
There's that fellow from the docks. He must have seen everything that happened.
Yes, I think rescue is at hand, and I don't believe the Commissioner likes it one bit. Quickly, Watson, I want to examine the wound.
Holmes, why would radicals hire you to catch a madman? That's why, indeed, food for thought. And why feed us information in such a bizarre fashion? And more important still, who killed Makins and why? How did you know they were radicals?
Sword stick. Oh, no magic, Watson. I simply made inquiries at Whitechapel.
And that made you suspicious?
No, it was Makins, bad actor with his excessive servility, and then Lanier's resentment of rich ladies in their palaces.
It is fortunate for you, Mr. Holmes, that the dock guard was so diligent.
Oh, I take it then we're free.
For the moment, yes. Sir Charles would like to see you in his office immediately. Don't provoke him. He is determined to have you off this case. He's a dangerous man. He has many secret friends. So go carefully.
Secret friends. Curious expression.
I suppose it was inevitable when you've got that sort of look and you've got that sort of voice that at some stage in his career, Sherlock Holmes would come a-calling. And sure enough, Plummer plays Sherlock Holmes in Murder by Decree.
Murder by Decree is a Sherlock Holmes story that isn't part of the canon. It's a screenplay that imagines that Sherlock Holmes was on the tail of Jack the Ripper. Christopher Plummer is Sherlock Holmes and James Mason is Dr. Watson, and they play very different versions of these two iconic screen and book legends. The Basil Rathbone series films had been about a very detached, removed character and a bumbling assistant. But in this film, actually, Plummer makes Holmes much more empathetic, much more of a person who's aware of the world and cares about the world. And Watson, James Mason plays Watson as a much more intelligent, proper medical man who can really help Holmes out. So it's a reversioning of Holmes and Watson. And also it's so convincing, their relationship, that it really carries the slightly conspiratorial preposterousness of the plot, which is where they deal effectively with every single one of the Ripper theories. Is it a royal? What are the police involved? But their relationship and their interplay carries through what could otherwise be quite a sort of a freak show story.
Following Murder by Decree, Christopher Plummer starred opposite Harrison Ford in the aviation drama Hanover Street.
Don't do this. Please don't.
My God. He has no face.
Two men back there. They're dead.
He has no face.
(1979) is Hanover Street, Peter Hyams' film, and Christopher Plummer plays a spy who actually passes off as an RAF fighter, but actually he works for the British intelligence and he has a job to do in Germany. The sort of triangle that happens is that Harrison Ford, in one of his, well, it's not his first role, but he plays another role outside of his Star Wars arc, who plays a young American flyer who falls in love with Christopher Plummer's wife, played by Leslie Ann Down. And so you've got this triangle. They both, Christopher Plummer and Harrison Ford, survive a plane crash over the channel. They land in Europe. They complete the mission. Then they somehow get out of Nazi Germany and across the channel and back.
In 1984, Plummer appeared in the Agatha Christie adaptation Ordeal by Innocence, along with fellow Canadian star Donald Sutherland.
Don't be alarmed, Calgary. None of them is loaded.
Never fails to impress me, that.
What, weaponry?
No, good grammar. None of them is. Never get it right. Always say none of them are. Arthur Calgary.
Sit down, will you?
It's nice. Nice collection you have here.
Oh, thank you. It's more than that. I am actually compiling what I hope will be the definitive reference work on small arms, their history, manufacture, use. Miss Vaughan, my secretary, undertakes a good deal of my field research.
How do you do, Arthur Calgary? You don't feel threatened with all these weapons, hmm?
Oh, guns run in our family. I can trace at least 4 generations of Argylls who were gunsmiths.
Ordeal by Innocence is an Agatha Christie story. In fact, it was one of her favorites. Very, very rarely filmed. And this was filmed in a way that sort of fought against the nostalgia of Christie's work.
In this case, it's quite an unusual story because it's not one of the big detectives. It's Donald Sutherland. He is the kind of paleontologist who one night gives a lift to a young man and takes him home to this big, sort of typically Agatha Christie style, rich mansion. And the young man leaves his notebook in the car. And he then gets rushed away to look at things in Antarctica. And 2 years later, he returns to return this notebook to find that very night, his young man who he dropped off murdered his mother, apparently, and has been executed for the crime. So the twist of the Agatha Christie story is the kind of, it's done in reverse almost. You've got to find someone's innocence out after the matter. From there on, it's kind of which one of this terrible, mean, rich family is culpable of killing this mother character. So you have Faye Dunaway and you have Christopher Plummer giving it all that the Agatha Christie adaptation needs.
In 1991, Christopher Plummer played a Shakespeare-quoting Klingon general in Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country.
I can see you, Kirk.
Chang.
Can you see me? Oh, now be honest, Captain. Warrior to warrior. You do prefer it this way, don't you? As it was meant to be. No peace in our time. Once more unto the breach, dear friends. Tach pa! Tach be! This is fun.
Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country, saw Christopher Plummer as a Klingon general. It's a fantastic piece of work. He's got a lot of makeup on, and yet he still acts the hell out of the role. It's difficult to play Klingon, but he gives him, again, an inner life. He gives him a purpose. And also there's a bit of a surprise when he's revealed later on to be a villain. So he manages to be initially a charming Klingon and then gradually a more dastardly Klingon, and covered in makeup. He does it really well.
Throughout the 1990s, Christopher Plummer took on a wide range of roles in various productions, including a prison chaplain in Spike Lee's Malcolm X, a business tycoon in Mike Nichols' Wolf, and a virologist in Terry Gilliam's 12 Monkeys. Then in 1999, Plummer played CBS journalist Mike Wallace in Michael Mann's The Insider.
Am I missing something?
What do you
here?
mean, Mike?
I mean, he's got a corporate secrecy agreement. Give me a break. I mean, this is a public health issue, like an unsafe airframe on a passenger jet or some company dumping cyanide into the East River. Issues like that. He can talk, we can air it. They've got no right to hide behind a corporate agreement. Pass the note.
The Insider's a Michael Mann film starring Al Pacino and Russell Crowe, one of his early roles. It's about 60 Minutes, the big CBS News series, and their sort of exposure of the tobacco industry.
In The Insider, he plays Mike Wallace, a celebrated television journalist who exposed the tobacco industry, one of the first to do so, and was in big trouble with the tobacco industry for doing so. It's a very good story, and Mike Wallace was an extraordinary person, and he plays him excellently.
In other words, you were charging Sandifer and Brown and Williamson with ignoring health considerations consciously?
Most certainly.
And on March 24th, Thomas Sandifer, CEO of Brown and Williamson, had you fired. And the reason he gave you?
Poor communication skills.
And you wish you hadn't come forward? You wish you hadn't blown the whistle?
Yeah, there are times I wish I hadn't done it. There are times I feel compelled to do it. If you ask me, would I do it again? Do I think it's worth it? Yeah, I think it's worth it.
At the turn of the millennium, Christopher Plummer began a long run of appearing in some of Hollywood's most prestigious films. In 2001, he starred in A Beautiful Mind, which would win the Academy Award for Best Film.
Now, go easy now. Thorazine takes a little while to wear off. Sorry about the restraints. You've got one hell of a right hook.
A Beautiful Mind was a kind of the big Oscar-winning drama starring Russell Crowe, of course, had been in The Insider. It's a story of John Nash, who was this brilliant mathematician who would become a Nobel laureate for economics, who was tormented by hallucinations.
In A Beautiful Mind, he plays Dr. Rosen, and it's a mark of his success as an actor that although Rosen is quite obviously a good guy, a man who was actually trying to help Nash, that in Nash's paranoia, there is an ambivalence about it. Once you're inside Nash's head, once you see that he is, as portrayed in the film, a paranoid schizophrenic, then what you have with Dr. Rosen in Plummer is a man who is either good or maybe not. He may be the Soviet agent that Nash imagines him to be. And I think that is a really clever and subtle balance, because basically what it does, it undermines the audience's view of not just the people around him, but Dr. Rosen in particular.
In his later career, Christopher Plummer has portrayed numerous real-life figures, including Aristotle, the philosopher and teacher of the young Alexander the Great, in Oliver Stone's epic Alexander. He then starred in Terence Malick's The New World as the privateer Captain Christopher Newport. Then, in 2009, he took on the role of Leo Tolstoy in The Last Station.
I am not suggesting they be given land. Private property is the root of the problem. We should be giving ours away. God, giving it to whom?
Yes, exactly. I mean, this is ridiculous. You think because the peasants are poor, they're somehow morally superior?
I believe that wealth corrupts us all. Yes, I do.
It's a keystone of the movement.
Oh, God, I know all about the movement.
If the peasants had money, they wouldn't surround themselves as we do, with footmen costing 10 rubles a month.
No, they'd spend it on drink and whores.
Valentin Fedorovich, what do you think?
Tea.
You think that 50 years from now, people will eat while grown men walk around waiting on hand and foot?
I think that's good.
In The Last Station, Christopher Plummer plays Tolstoy. Now, this is again, another legend. Plummer is so good at playing these legendary figures and not being intimidated by them. He's playing opposite Helen Mirren, who is obviously a very powerful screen actress, and he's playing a difficult part. He's playing a man who is both a saint and genuinely unpleasant. So he flips between these different modes of being, and he has to portray Tolstoy's kind of hatred of worldly goods, but at the same time his sort of talent. And it's a role that, you know, in many ways you could fail at very, very badly. It's a very difficult role to pull off convincingly, but Christopher Plummer does it. He takes this legendary figure and he gives him heart and soul while staying true to the irascible character he really was.
Very well.
Papa, from Mother. Nerves, dreadful, stop. Insomnia, stop. Pulse 100, stop. Please come home.
Plummer would be nominated for an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. The following year, he would win the award for his performance in Beginners.
Oh, did I wake you? Yeah, thank you, Maria. And now that you're here, would you please put those up there?
What?
I'm reorganizing.
Prednisone makes you crazy.
I'm just not sleepy. I feel great.
Pop, you should rest.
As soon as I finish these papers. Right papers? Right, Hal. As soon as you're done, you can rest.
Beginners is 2010, filmed by Mike Mills, and it is kind of a story of his own story, really, about his dad, his late dad, who comes out toward the end of his life and how it changes this director's life, and he really wanted to make a film about it. So Christopher Plummer plays the father, not a dry eye in the house, as they say. It's a great, great, great performance, one you would not have expected Christopher Plummer to do, but he does it. And, of course, he wins the Oscar.
Following Beginners, Christopher Plummer remained one of the most in-demand actors in Hollywood and continued his trend of playing historical figures with his role as Kaiser Wilhelm II in The Exception and as John Paul Getty in All the Money in the World.
Would you care to guess how much I paid for it?
Oh, I couldn't possibly.
$11.23. I picked it up at the black market in Heraclon. Some old cripple wanted to ask $19 for it. It took me 1 hour to bring him down to his bottom line. Thus, today, at auction, I hazard it could bring $1.2 million. And, well, you see, everything has a price. The great struggle in life is coming to grips with what that price is. I want you to have it.
We couldn't.
You like it, Paul?
That's okay. I don't need it.
No, I insist.
It's far too extravagant for a little boy.
Well, for some little boys, it might be. Not for a Getty.
He has many weapons in his armory. He has a most wonderful voice, actually. And he has, of course, a great physical presence, and he has actually carried that through. So all of this he can use, all of this he can use as an actor on screen and play with. I think he is among the best of those kind of actors who came out of the theatre onto the screen intact, fully intact, and brought all the best elements of theatre onto the screen and left aside, discarded the elements that you don't need on screen.
He does career best performances all throughout his career. He starts well, stays well, and he's finishing well, which is exactly the opposite of what actors ought to do. They ought to peak early and then fade, or they ought to start late and then peak. But he has just been peaking.
His legacy is that he was one of the finest actors Canada ever produced. I think he's one of the best screen actors in the world today.
Christopher Plummer is one of those rare actors who's won what's known as the Triple Crown. He's won an Oscar, he's won an Emmy, and he's won a Tony. Those are the 3 crowns, and only 9 men have ever done this. So he is up there in the industry, stage and screen. That is almost unheard of.
Christopher Plummer was one of the great acting secrets in American film. thankfully and rightly, in the 90s and into the noughties and onward, we've come to recognise him as just a scintillating talent.